Welcome to EntreProgrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
And I believe we're live.
Yay!
Alrighty.
No Sonmez today.
No, where's he at?
He is at a Tony Robbins conference. I'm not sure where specifically. Probably somewhere in California. Those
Somehow
California
my brain
people.
heard Tony Robbins concert.
Yeah. Did I might. There's a good chance I might have said that.
No,
I thought
you
said
didn't.
conference.
You
Okay.
said conference, but yeah, that's what my brain kind of heard for a second.
Nice.
He's down in the mosh pit front
Yeah.
row.
Yeah. So I am flying solo at Simple Programmer. If anything breaks, I'm going to be on call here. So.
At least you're
There you
still
go.
flying. I've spent the entire week sans laptop.
Nice.
So-
I talked to somebody else this week who had the same thing happen where like his rock solid reliable Mac this week just like went on the fritz and he had to have it
I
replaced.
swear Apple flipped the kill switch in the old models. But no, I mean, I mentioned this last week, right? And
Yeah.
I mentioned how lucky I thought I was that I made it through the episode, the call. And then on Monday morning, my laptop crashed like 6 times before 10 a.m.
Oh gosh.
And
Wow.
I went in to try and get onto the call with my other mastermind group, and it wouldn't stay up. I would get like 15, 20 minutes out of it, and it would crash. And then I tried to get into the call with my phone, and my phone kept crapping out on the call as well. So I spent Monday afternoon making sure that I had everything backed up. And with all the crashing that was going on, it tried to do a time machine backup right when it crashed.
Oh no.
And so it basically corrupted my time machine backup.
Oh man.
So the next time I booted it up, it told me that I had no valid backup and it needed to start over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so panic ensues. And eventually I figure out safe mode. I get the laptop booted into safe mode. And the first time I tried to get a backup done in safe mode, it crapped out again.
Oh gosh.
But I don't know what caused that one. I booted into safe mode a second time, and it completed the time machine backup. So I've got, hopefully, what is still a good time machine backup sitting on my external hard drive.
Oh man.
So I took my laptop down to the Apple store in Austin. 100 miles away was the closest store to me.
Oh good grief.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I called them and made an appointment, so I knew when to be there and everything. I ran some Apple hardware tests, and the Apple hardware test that I ran said that there was bad memory. When I got to the store, though, the guy was like, "Yeah, we're going to run a better test suite for you." And so they ran their test suite, which said the memory was fine, but the video card was busted.
That's what this other guy that I talked to, that was his problem as well, was the
Yeah.
video card.
And interestingly, the guy at the Apple store said, honestly, I'm glad it's your video card because that means I get to replace it for you for free.
Oh, cool.
So,
Was there a recall on it or something?
yeah, apparently there was this model of laptop or video card or something had a recall on it. So
Okay.
I get the whole main logic board in the laptop is being replaced because everything is soldered together, integrated into one thing.
Nice.
I'm hoping that the techs working on it will just go ahead and replace the batteries for me as well. I don't know how soldered on the batteries are, if they can actually just take the motherboard and use the same batteries. I don't know how that works, but if I get a brand new main logic board out of this, even if, and if I do get new batteries out of it as well, then I doubt that I'll buy a new laptop in the next 2 years.
Hopefully the techs are not listening because
Yeah, exactly. Because
I'm not that excited about the new MacBook Pros anyway.
Yeah, I want the upgrade. I do. There's significantly faster memory, significantly faster hard drive speeds, much more hard drive space available, The video card into it is going to be faster, and it has 8 gigs of memory instead of the 1 in my current laptop. Those are all things that would be really nice to have, but I'm just not super thrilled about the touch bar. It's like, okay, I work with an external keyboard and mouse and a monitor 90% of the time. So yay, a touch bar that I'm not going to use. Where's the...
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Unless you get the same thing on your external laptop, there's no muscle memory. You're not gonna use it.
Well, and it tops out at 16 gigs, which I wish I could get more.
Yeah, I read some reports and analysis from people that know about that kind of stuff, and I think I can understand the reasons why Apple chose not to. In terms of power consumption versus battery life, they could have gone with 32 gigs of memory, but it would have dramatically reduced the battery life. And apparently there are restrictions on how much battery capacity can be in a laptop, and from FAA and airlines and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
So
they don't want your battery to last on a cross-continental flight.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where the restrictions come from, but I mean, there are plenty of laptops out there that have 32 gigs of memory.
Yeah.
And you get a couple of hours max out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, my 2012 MacBook Pro, I get 4 hours if I'm not doing anything super intensive on the battery life, and it's 4 years old. When I first bought it, I was getting 8 to 10 hours out of it doing normal stuff.
Yeah, mine's a 2013, late 2013. And so the upgrade, I don't think is quite as dramatic as it would be for you, but I just haven't.
Yeah, the revisions that they did in 13, 14, and 15 bumped up the speeds on memory and video card and stuff pretty good. And I've considered just buying a refurbished 2015 model. I could get that with 16 gigs of memory, a terabyte of hard drive space for $2,800 off of the Apple refurbished website. Which, if this one craps out again, or if it becomes a serious problem, maybe I'll do that before I get the 2016, or maybe I'll do what I can to wait until the 2017 revision comes out and see if they do anything to the touch bar to improve it with the next revision.
You mean like turn it into an actual touchscreen?
Yeah. Something. I don't know. Give it haptic feedback the same way the Force Touch pad works. Make it a little more useful from a hardware perspective. I don't know.
So do you have another computer that you work from this week, or did you just take the week off?
I mostly took the week off. I do have a 2010 MacBook Pro that I spent pretty much the entire week trying to upgrade and get it into working order. And I got Sierra working on it. That took me an entire day, basically, to get Sierra installed and working correctly because of all of the old apps I have on it. But I still have so much old junk on there, so many old apps that are incompatible, so many old versions of whatever.
Right.
That, I mean, I spent most of the week trying to get that thing into a working order. And the only thing I could legitimately do with it is browse the web. It was incredibly difficult. But
it's a Chromebook.
Yeah, exactly.
A $3,000 Chromebook.
I probably could have been more efficient with getting that thing working, but it has a lot of my wife's stuff on it. So I couldn't just wipe it out and restore my backup from my Time Machine onto it, because that would have destroyed everything that my wife has on there. Because that's now our home laptop.
Right.
That's the computer that we use for just general everyday stuff at home. So I had to make sure I maintained the integrity of that laptop as I was upgrading things.
Yep.
Well,
but in spite of all of that, I've actually had a pretty good week with Watch Me Code.
Sweet.
I managed to get my one episode this week published. I went down to a friend's house yesterday for client work with my client. And we did a deploy of our software from his computers. But then I brought my Thunderbolt drive with me, plugged it into his Mac, got my Watch Me Code files off of it, and got them published.
Oh, good.
So that was good. I maintained this week's episode. I don't know if I'm going to get my laptop back in time to record and produce next week's episode, though. I have to wait and see on that. Oh, caramel macchiato.
Yep. Yeah, guess where I am.
I started my launch sequence for my Docker, my guide to learning Docker is what I'm calling it. And I've done a full week of build-up launch emails this week, talking about all of the things that Docker has done for me and how I've gone about learning it and the things that I'm doing with it, and building up to today's email talking about how next week I'll be giving people a 10% discount if they want to buy the guide instead of being a subscriber. But in the last 24 hours, I've had 3 new subscribers, 2 of them on monthlies and 1 of them annual.
Very cool.
Nice.
And then I had a new subscriber at the beginning of the week, like on Sunday as well. So it's been a pretty good week for Watch Me Code overall. I've seen a fair number of people tweeting about my guide and retweeting it. I think the emails are going pretty good. There's actually a guy that works for Docker on my mailing list, and he responded to one of my emails and was like, love reading these and hearing what you're doing. You interested in speaking at the Docker conference in Austin?
Oh, nice.
So I'm not real sure I want to. Because,
well, when I pick up my MacBook, I'll just.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So I'm honestly not real sure I want to for various reasons. I'm not sure I want to take the time. I'm not sure I guess I would have some content to talk about, then I could figure something out, but I'm not sure if I want to really take the time to do it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's been pretty cool. Been getting some pretty good responses from that. So hopefully on Monday, when the 10% discount code goes out, I'm hoping to get some good sales out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Desperately need it.
Awesome.
I'm still staring at a ton of credit card debt from everything that I've done this year.
Crazy.
But yeah, that was cool that you're giving people the option to get the content for free by subscribing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great.
Yeah, it incentivizes them to do the thing you want.
Right. Yeah, and either way, it works out. If they buy the bundle or pick up the subscription, it works out pretty well. My average customer value last time I looked was somewhere around a couple $100. Even if a monthly subscriber only sticks around for 4 months, like they have in the past, that's still looking at $100, which is the same cost as this bundle is going to be.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But with my launch sequence going out to 7,600 people at $99 minus a 10% discount comes out to $89. And if I get 1% conversion on this, I'm looking at $6,700. And if I get 2% conversion on this, $1,300 would be a pretty dang nice week. And I kind of doubt that I'll get 2%. I think I have, in general, 1 to 1.5% on this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But still, $6,700 would be a pretty nice week to be able to pay down some credit card debt and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I really like what you're doing with this. This is going to be good because you're basically like getting dual purpose out of all this content you're creating. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and when I looked at my income last year, that's really what it came down to. Is I made $70,000 out of Watch Me Code last year, and half of it was one-time sales. Not it wasn't weighted significantly in either direction. It was a little bit off, but not much. And I haven't done hardly anything with one-time sales this year at all. So I'm trying to fix that. And I'm kind of glad I went down this path for a lot of different reasons, with the pricing changes and restructuring the website and moving everything more toward the guides that I'm doing for many different reasons, in spite of how difficult it's been financially. And one of those reasons is I'm looking at the way I'm doing the bundle sales now, and instead of focusing on the individual series of episodes, 7 to 12 episodes that covers whatever subject, I'm looking at the guides as the bundle sales now. So I've got this first Docker guide. The guide to learning Docker is my first real attempt at doing a bundle sale off of that, off the guide idea. I have gone in, before my laptop crashed, I had gone in and reworked my RabbitMQ stuff. So I now have a RabbitMQ, a guide to building microservices with RabbitMQ, and I've been redirecting all of my previous RabbitMQ marketing stuff to that guide. And there's been a number of people that have emailed me recently, asking more about RabbitMQ, so I think it's getting a little bit of traction. And I think if I put a little time and effort into updating some of those episodes and some of the materials around it, I could probably do another launch of that and actually have some good results this time instead of the 0 that I got last time.
Yeah.
So the idea around the guides, I think, is going to be a pretty good way for me to move forward with the bundle sales, as well as just getting people into the content on the site and helping them understand the flow of things and where they can go next and all that kind of stuff.
And the guides are really they're kind of like a walkthrough of a result, right? And then but then you have like the episodes ordered, and then the ones that are not free are locked. That's how
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
Good deal.
Yeah. So people have did Derick freeze? I think Derick froze. Oh man.
Yeah, I think you froze.
Yeah, he did. I was before I started the call, I was looking at all the thumbnails of the episodes on YouTube.
And I'm sure some of them are great.
They are. There's a whole, for some reason, there's a whole bunch with me, and they're all like really odd. Like there was one where I was drinking Diet Coke. I'd taken a swig of a Diet Coke, and then there's one where I was like holding my chin and looking up very thoughtfully. It's just, yeah.
You did headshots?
Yeah, the thumbnails on the YouTube channel are hilarious. Like, for some reason, half of them are me, and they're like all these really bizarre freeze frames. So
I think Google's algorithm for that is look for the most awkward positions possible.
Yeah. Nice.
That's yeah. Well, that's exciting, Derick. I mean, I think that all this garbage you've gone through has been kind of necessary because it's kind of it forced your hand on a few things and
a lot of things.
Got you to try a bunch of stuff, and now it seems like you've got something that's working. So
yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how it all kind of works out over the next few weeks, few months.
How's your mastermind going? Your screencasting mastermind?
It's going all right. It's been a little slow, especially since I haven't had a laptop this week. It's hard for me to do everything on my phone, so I'm trying to engage whenever possible. But one of the guys in there, he did a launch sequence for an iOS app to watch his screencasts, and he had originally planned just doing one email, and I talked him into doing 3, but he ended up splitting it into 4, and his final email with the "It's live" went out today, and his whole sequence was brilliant. I mean, it was perfectly done. He had the "Here's the problem" email, here's this thing that I'm working on email, here's a lot more detail about what it actually is, and go get it, here's all the awesome things you can do with it.
Nice. Emails are like rabbits; they tend to multiply.
They do. Yeah.
Gross.
I think his emails were spot on, exactly what he needed to do. I've seen a few responses. He's posted a few responses in our Slack of people basically saying, "Shut up and take my money."
Well, there you go.
Derick, business coach extraordinaire.
Yes. Marketing idiots.
Yeah. So speaking of masterminds and coaches, I'm in Nashville for the get-together for my other mastermind.
Okay.
And I emailed the guy that runs that mastermind yesterday and told him I was leaving. But I'm here anyway.
So, wait, so you're leaving the mastermind?
Yeah. It's one of those paid programs.
Oh, okay.
So I pay every month and I'm part of the mastermind. And what happened was I got an email from somebody else that I had been talking to off and on for a while. His name's Keegan. He works for Jamie Masters, who runs the Eventual Millionaire podcast.
Okay. Yep.
And he emailed me and said, hey, she's opening up her, I don't think it's her top tier. It's the tier just below that, but it's weekly coaching and mastermind group.
Nice.
And stuff like that. And so I applied and I got in.
Nice.
And so I decided I didn't need 3 masterminds.
Yeah, I'm in another larger group that I mentioned before, and they do weekly calls on Wednesdays, and their Wednesday schedule never fits with my schedule. With the,
is that the bootstrap?
Right.
Yeah.
That one. And so I'm pretty happy to have formed this other group that I've got now, because we're doing our calls on Monday, and I think there's a 5th person that we're going to invite. I need to talk to the other people in the group and see about getting that person in there. It's actually one of our listeners on the EntreProgrammers, a guy that has interacted with us a few times, so that's pretty cool.
Hi, person. Hi.
Yeah, I don't want to say his name because I don't want
Bubba. We'll just call him Bubba.
I'm not sure how he would feel about that.
Bubba.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bubba.
So I'm super excited. We had a half-hour call that went for about an hour.
Oh, nice.
Before I signed up. And I'm excited. She's worked with a few other people that are doing some things that are similar to what I'm doing. And so it sounded like she could take what I'm bringing in and more than double it. So
Nice.
Excellent.
yeah, so she's going to help me figure out products and do the launches and all of that other stuff. I am super excited. And the guy that runs this mastermind, he's like, I want this event to be 100% positive. He's like, so you can't tell anyone you're leaving until after it's over. So
Fair enough.
So I'll be here. Yeah, I'll get to hang out with these guys, and then I'll have that going on. One other thing, though, that came out of the call, and I think this will be interesting for our listeners, was I hired a bookkeeper back in April, I think, or May, to straighten up my books in QuickBooks Online.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was asking for numbers on my business, so I logged into QuickBooks, and I took one look at the numbers and said, that can't possibly be right.
Uh-oh.
Right? And so I sent an email to my bookkeeper, and I'm like, do you have a half hour to just walk me through all of this? So we get in, and we look at it, and it turns out that...
Are you having you're having a Josh moment here, I think. Go ahead.
So about 50,000 of the income number for podcast sponsorships, because it's accrual instead of cash basis,
Okay.
is money I haven't actually gotten yet.
Ah.
And then another 7,000 is money I expect to get this year, but I haven't gotten yet.
Right.
And then the other $320,000 is money that I did get paid this year. And it turned out that after I checked it all out, that number was actually correct. And I was just kind of mind blown. So then my question is, why is life so hard, right? Where did it all go?
Holy crap, how do I have all this money and I don't know where it is?
Right, right. So, yeah, so there's empirical evidence here that I got the money.
Right.
Where did I put the money?
Well, that is also supposed to be in your book. So if you dig around in there, the answer should be forthcoming.
Yeah, so that was the other 20 minutes of the 30-minute call.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it turned out that I had paid myself quite a bit more this year than I thought. But I also paid like $20,000 in back taxes and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that, it didn't feel like I made that much because I didn't actually make that much.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was really interesting because I let Mandy go, I let Bubba go in August, and I had paid Bubba to date $80,000. So like a huge chunk of that was going to Bubba.
Yeah.
And, that accounts for about 2/3 of the money is my income, the other 2 contractors I have, and her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so it's kind of interesting to think, okay, so next year, just looking at things, how different is it going to look just financially without having to pay the premium to have this particular person working on my stuff.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's been rough, and trying to do everything has not been fun because I wind up doing a lot of stuff that I don't really feel like I should be doing. But ultimately, I think it's going to work out for the best. And, yeah, it was just really interesting to look at that and go, okay, so I'm spending so much on this and so much on that. Mm-hmm. You know, ultimately, the numbers came out to, I think I paid myself $111,000 this year to date. But like I said, a lot of that went to debt reduction and stuff, and so it feels like a whole lot less for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Then $88,000 went to administrative services, which is, I'm just going to say names. I'm done with this Bubba crap. Went to Mandy and to Gerald, and then another $25,000 went into other development stuff, which was Federico, and one or two other places, because I have another guy that does WordPress stuff for me sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then $27,000 went to software and services, and so I'm having a good hard look at that too and trying to figure out if I'm putting money where I need it to go.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
What is that?
That is a lot.
I mean, Drip is going to be a chunk of that. Like Drip would probably be a few $100 a month. What else?
Yeah, so Drip is $100 or so a month. Keen.io I was using to do my numbers tracking. I've switched to Blueberry, so I'm not going to be paying that anymore. But they were $250 a month. And then I was paying for Trello and a whole bunch of other services for different things. Mm-hmm. And so I think ultimately a lot of it's going to be stuff that I needed, like more or less needed. It doesn't include hosting, incidentally. DigitalOcean is its own account. So I'm having a good hard look at that, and mostly just looking to see, okay, in the last month or two, did I pay for anything that I'm no longer using?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That I can cut. So I'm going to export all of my data out of Keen.io and shut that down, because Blueberry's $5 a month per podcast.
Nice.
And so I literally go from $250 a month for Keen.io to $25 a month for all of my shows.
That's a cost savings.
And they just, yeah. But yeah, it was really educational, and just looking at those numbers and saying, okay, well, if I can cut $1,000 a month on those expenses, and then I can find somebody to do the administrative work that I need done for the podcasts and conferences and stuff, and then the podcast editing and things like that, I think a lot of it will just basically come down to the point where I can actually. Next year, I'd like to net $200,000, but what that does is it gets me completely out of debt, except for my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place it gets me to, and still, it's a comfortable living for my family. But yeah, we're all about being open and sharing the numbers. But I was shocked at the numbers, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so, so now I get to talk to her every month. And we're just going to walk through the profit and loss for the month and make sure that I understand.
Yeah, that's really good.
What's going on with my business. And I think those calls are probably going to take like 10 minutes every month now, because I understand how it's all being managed. Mm-hmm. And, but then I can make decisions about what I'm spending money on. And one last thing that I kind of wanted to bring up was I took your advice, Josh, and I hired 6 people off of UpWork to do the same job.
Oh, okay.
I hired them to do research to get me a list of NoSQL databases, and then information on the team leads and other people that work for companies that specialize in those technologies, so that I can invite them as speakers to the conference. And one person, it's so funny, you were so right. There was one person that just totally stood out above everybody else. There's another contractor, and he did pretty well, but everybody else was kind of like...
Yep.
So...
we did when John hired 10 people to do the podcast or the video editing. When we got Rodrigo, mm-hmm. There were basically 2 people that stood out.
Yeah. So this other guy, so the one that stood out the most, she's in the U.S. actually.
Nice.
And her rate was like $7 an hour. So I told her, I said, I know.
That's below minimum wage.
I couldn't believe it.
That might not even be legal.
Yeah. So what I told her was, I was like, look, I have some other work that I want you to do to see how that all works out. And if your attention to detail and your communication skills are as good on this stuff as it has been on the other job, then I will pay you more and start training you on all the stuff I need done for the business.
Yeah.
And she got super excited about that. So I'd probably wind up, if it works out, probably start her out at 10 and then move her up to 12 or 15 pretty quick. And just keep her there and keep her happy. But the funny thing about that is that that her rate is considerably less. Even if I get her to $15 an hour, is considerably less than what I was paying Mandy to do the same job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm paying her, if it takes her 3-4 times as long to do the work, I'm still saving money on the work. And the guy in Philippines, he keeps having outages and this and that, and it's like, can you get this done? And then he disappears for 3 days, and he comes back. Oh, there was an outage, or this or that, and I'm just kind of getting tired of not having stuff done when I want it done. So even if it's not his fault, I'm probably gonna let him go.
Yeah,
I have to fire someone this month anyway. So.
Yeah. Chuck hires people just to fire them.
Yes.
That's right. But it's been really interesting just to see this all kind of materialize. And honestly, I think the biggest holdup in my business is just I need to hire somebody to take care of a lot of this stuff.
I hear you, man. I'm doing everything myself.
I know.
Still, and it's.
I know you feel this pain, man.
And it's like every week, my schedule every week right now is Monday morning I record episodes. If I'm lucky, I'll get 2 or 3 episodes recorded. That's the only reason that I had an episode available this week, is because last week I managed to get 3 episodes recorded. Monday afternoons is typically editing episodes. Tuesday is client work. Mm-hmm. Wednesday is typically marketing work in the mornings, and then in the afternoons, it's probably either research for the next screencast, or it's miscellaneous stuff with code on the Watch Me Code website. It's kind of what random thing do I need to get done this week? Thursday is client work. Friday morning is usually planning for screencast, and then Friday afternoons kind of get a little bit crazy with. Between we do this call and then Friday afternoons, it's probably marketing stuff and blogging related stuff, but it gets a little crazy sometimes as well.
Derek, once you get your debt paid off, it might be smart to hire your video editor back.
Yeah,
how much?
I definitely want to.
How much time does that take you to do an episode?
The recording part is the easy part for sure. The editing takes the longest. And at this point, if I have a 15-minute episode, it will take on average probably 2, maybe 3 hours if I've made a lot of mistakes in it.
Okay.
There's just a lot of little things that just take time. It's not that the work is difficult by any means, but it's, okay, I need the intro video. Well, for the intro video, I need a title. And, well, for the title, I need the series title. Well, for the series title, I mean, there's just all these little things that just pile up. So the intro video and outro video animations will take me 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get those done. And then I get a screenshot out of there that I use as my thumbnail. And then I go into the editing and bring all of that in and bring the music in and line up everything appropriately at the right time sequences. Then I go look for mistakes and I level the volumes out. And there's a lot of work that goes into it for sure. And it was definitely, it was worthwhile having my video editor for all of those years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've been able to push the quality of my videos forward significantly since I started doing this myself, because I can take my random idea and try it out and see if I like it or not. And I can do that in a way that is generally faster feedback instead of asking him, hey, try this.
I think Derick froze again.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Technology is not his friend this week. So,
No kidding.
I interrupted.
I have another. No, it's fine. I have another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. And it was something that Derick.
Hey, Derick.
Yeah.
So, second time my phone cracked out. So as I was saying, it's been good for me to do this on my own a bit because it does give me the opportunity to move forward with the way that I produce the videos, and I've been able to insert myself into the videos instead of just having code on the screen all the time, and I'm doing things a little differently and a little better, and it's definitely pushing Watch Me Code forward.
Cool. So I have a question for you related to, you talked about kind of your typical week. And I've kind of been thinking for a while. So one thing that Jamie told me to do as well is to use an app called Toggl, Toggl.com, to keep track of my time. And I kind of wind up working on everything all week. And I've been wondering, if you find that you benefit at all from focusing on one thing for a week. Because it sounds like your schedule is kind of working on everything all week too.
I've tried that in the past. There were, I don't remember if this was before we started recording this as a podcast, but there were times in the past where, through advice of Josh and John at least, I'd gone in and attempted to do week-long batches of something, like a week of client work, a week of screencasts, a week of, whatever. The client work I can't really do that with. It requires Tuesday and Thursday because that's the schedule that they want me at this point.
Right.
But for the rest of the stuff, I found that it caused more problems for me than benefits. In that I would spend a whole week on screencasts, and that would give me like a month or 2 months worth of episodes. And then I wouldn't work on screencasts at all for the next month. And I would get down to, okay, I've got 2 episodes left. I need to start planning and recording and editing so that I can have something in 3 weeks. Oh crap, I have no idea what I need to be doing. I'm out of practice. I don't know what I want to talk about. What episodes should I do? I mean, it turned into this nightmare of, I ignored it for so long that I don't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So that has also been my experience with batching. So I've experimented with this in different ways, and one way that I tried it was, so for my daily emails, write them all on Monday. And what I found happened was, I'd get them all done like Monday morning, and it would feel great the rest of the week, but then I would be so not in that mode that when next week, like, I'd hit it and I'd be like, I'd have no ideas because I hadn't been thinking about ideas all week, and I'd be really stressed out. And it basically, what works for me is having a daily routine where certain things happen on certain days. Ideally, every day I'm working on something at a consistent time, and then I'll have like a couple of ongoing projects that are like bigger, and I'll hit those, like I'll have a big block in my day where I hit one of those big projects. That's what has worked best for me, like, consistently.
Same here.
Yeah, because the thing,
daily schedule.
Because with tracking this time, it feels like I'm kind of all over the place, and like working on Get a Coder Job and the conferences, and doing some of the development for the website and trying to line up webinars and everything else. It feels like I'm kind of scattered, and I'm wondering if, what if I buckled down for a week and just Get a Coder Job done? Or
in some cases, that can be really beneficial.
Yeah.
Like if you just need to get this one-time project done, it's not going to be an ongoing thing, then I might recommend you go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Just buckle down and get it done, and then get back to a schedule after that.
Yeah.
But if it's not something that is time-constrained and time-sensitive, If it's something that you want to put a lot of love and care into, then I would suggest something more like, okay, on Mondays I do this and this, and
Right.
on Tuesdays I do this and this. On Wednesdays, my recommendation would be break up your schedule into at most half days.
Mm-hmm.
You would go, Monday morning is this, Monday afternoon is that, Tuesday morning is this, Tuesday afternoon is that. You may be able to do Monday is this, Tuesday is that, but I wouldn't go for a whole week at a time consistently unless you just need to crank something out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I see what you're saying. I mean, a lot of the stuff is routine, and I have to do it anyway, like
Right.
checking email every day.
Right.
It's kind of like bathing. It might stink sometimes, but I got to do it.
I took a shower 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
But yeah, so I'm just thinking, okay, well, what if I just make sure I have all the routine stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
like checking email, and then like next week, of course, in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
But the week after that, I get no SQL conference mostly finished. And then the week after that, I get DevOps conference mostly finished. The week after that, I get the JS conf mostly finished.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it would kind of drop into the regular email maintenance, and then I could do a little bit of triage as needed.
If you're gonna have like those kinds of I would try to serialize those projects versus working on them all at once, because that's just there's so many pieces. There's going to be so much detail to one of those projects that there's going to be a big switching cost, and it's really like 30 tiny projects, right? So it makes sense. It's not even like writing a book. Like if you're writing a book, there's only so much time in a day that you can put into it before your brain is just
That's true.
Completely fried. But with something like right now, what I'm working on is I'm updating the blogging course, and that's really, I mean, that's basically it. Like I'm doing I'll have like some other smaller stuff that I'll be doing, but my big project is updating the blogging course until I get that done.
Right.
And that's maybe 2 or 3 days worth of work. And then after that, it's going to be the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. And getting
which I wanted to ask about that as well. So we'll come back to that.
do one.
Right after doing a launch?
I would,
Like 2 weeks later?
Yeah, do it.
So I keep going back and forth on something like this. The more I look into it, the more I don't want to lower prices when I do the sales. And I know that's the approach is either that or you add some bonus on. I mean, what approach do you take, and what are the trade-offs that you see there? I know we've talked about this before, but
I mean, for us, we just do discounts, and it works. I mean, I don't know. It's like one of those, if it ain't broke. I feel like it probably, ideally, I wouldn't do it that way, but it works pretty well. It doesn't seem, I mean, we're getting decent sales on an ongoing basis. So, I mean, actually, like a lot of our sales we have evergreen discounts that we're running all the time anyway. So it's kind of a moot point. Like we're already so far down that path that it doesn't really matter. But
So what I'm thinking about doing is for that Cyber Monday, whatever it's called, sale, I may try to pull a RabbitMQ out of my hat again.
Nice. I see what you did there, Derick. That was
it was very clever. I'm so clever.
a gimmick like that in email might just work, though.
Yeah, that's true. But my thought is, going back to my guides, what I might try to do if I decide to do that sale, which I'm kind of weary about because it's right on the heels of this other one, but if I do it for like a day, maybe it'll be okay. What I might try to do is tell people, hey, the RabbitMQ for Developers bundle has been retired, but all of that same content has been repurposed with some additional content, because I added a couple of things to it, a couple of other series, into my guide, and I could tell people like, hey, look, RabbitMQ for developers is retired, but here's the next evolution of that to focus on more modern needs and solving this specific problem of microservices. So if I took that angle as a the next evolution, get a discount on it, maybe that would be a reasonable Cyber Monday sale for me to do.
Do it. Send 3 emails in one day.
In one day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do anyways.
Yeah. I like
no
it.
build up, just the 3 emails in that day.
We're gonna do so what we're building out a 1-year quarterly automated sales cycle. So we already have 60 days after you join, we offer you a discount. We do like an automated 3-day or 2-day sale on how to market yourself. So we're going to do this time, for Cyber Monday, we're going to do 10 steps to learn anything quickly. And then that'll be the 120-day sale. So I'm going to write the emails, send them out as broadcasts, and then just roll them into this other automated sequence. So, yeah, so that'll be fun. We just did that little mini product launch too. So,
yeah. I'm also thinking about doing a beta sale for Get a Coder Job and just selling like 10 or 15 spots. Because I've got a list of several hundred people at this point that have signed up for email courses or just said they were interested. And so if I open up the beta course or beta and then start delivering them stuff, I think I can get the feedback I need to make it what people want.
What was your what's the price point going to be again?
I think I'm going to sell the book and workbook for $49.
Oh, good.
$47 or something like that.
Oh, good grief! Yeah, you'll sell that out almost instantly.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sell I plan to do a video course on it, and I'll probably sell that for $300, give or take.
Was it us that were talking about recently how writing a book, you sell it for $20, and recording the same content in video, you sell it for $200?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's funny actually. So I had something cool happen this week. I got an email. Oh well, so let me back up real quick and tell. And we had this real disaster, my small scale disaster this week. So 2 weeks ago we did the 10 ways to make money with your blog launch, right? And it literally just came out of left field. We put this product together. We were like, hey, let's just do a sale on it to our whole list and see what happens. So there was no pre-launch, nothing. It was like, boom, here it is, buy it now kind of deal. And that so far we've made around $21,000 off of that.
Jeez.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's only a $49 product. So it was like we've made like over 300 sales on it, and yeah, it's working really well. And actually, the reason we created it was we have the blogging workbook, which is like that $5 product. So we have we now have an upsell funnel where we have $5 product, $49 one-time offer, and then $199 one-time offer for how to market yourself. So we have you buy the workbook, sucker, and then we offer you the next one and the next one, and we are getting a 20 to 25% acceptance on the upsells.
Wow.
So I'm shocked, honestly. Like I knew that this was going to work, or I knew we'd get sales, but I was thinking 3 to 5%. No, it's 25%. So like, if you say like 1 in every 8 people that buy the workbook end up buying all 3, or something like that, and it's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah, and it's working. That's working really well. But anyway, so we did this launch for the new course, and so it went so well. We were like, wow. We were just talking. We're like, why don't we try to launch this to the Sublime list? Why not, right? And
sounds like a disaster.
Yeah, I didn't really think it. We were talking about it. I didn't really think it was a great idea, but I thought it was worth trying. Just what the heck, right? So
those people hate you.
I loaded up the same emails, and And we sent out the first email, and we got like 5 sales.
Yep. And you probably got like 1,000 spam complaints. And
well, I don't know. We did get, so I did get an email from Wes Boss, from somebody contacted him on Twitter because they had used a plus Wes Boss email address.
Oh.
And so they were like, why did you sell my email?
Yep.
So it turned out though, it turned out, it was funny. So I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt really bad because I didn't want, didn't have any idea that could happen. It turned out though that there was only one person in the entire database of 65,000 that had that plus Wes Boss, and he noticed it, and he contacted Wes. So it ended up not being as big of a deal as I was worried. But yeah, so that was pretty. So we sent out the first email, and we got like virtually no sales, and so I was like, screw it, I'm pulling the plug on this. We're not doing any more emails. So we didn't. Yeah, so I had somebody contact me. So John and I have been talking, like, what are we going to do with this? Because we're paying about $400 a month right now to keep that list, and we're using it, like we are sending out emails and stuff, so it's warm. But I had somebody contact me today or this week about, and he's written a book called Sublime Text for Python Developers. He was like, hey, would you like to do an affiliate launch to your list? And I was like, hey, I have a better idea. You want to run this list? So
nice.
Yeah, and so he's excited. We're talking about just basically giving him kind of free reign with the list, and he's going to create he's been doing some really good blog posts about Sublime, and so basically he would write emails and blog posts, and then we would give him a commission of sales. Anything that comes off any product sales, he gets a commission off of it.
Nice.
And so he's got this product that is it's basically just a book that he's been selling for $29. And it was a fun conversation because he was like, do you know how long it took me to talk myself up to $29? And I was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell this for $99. You're gonna turn this into a video course. We're gonna sell it for $99. We're gonna chop up your book into a bunch of little PDF guides to sell as bonuses. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna do a pilot to see how we work together. We're gonna do a pilot launch in January, where I'm just basically gonna direct him through the whole thing. He's gonna do all the work. He even knows how to use Drip, so he's gonna set everything up in Drip, and it'll be pretty much hands off for me. I'll just sort of walk him through creating the launch sequence and everything, and we're gonna launch this thing for $99 and see what happens with it. And if it goes well, he'll probably just continue. We'll just basically hand this whole thing to him and tell him to run with it. So he wants to create a bunch. He wants to create a bunch more products for it if this goes well. So we shall see.
Right.
But yeah, this could actually be, for us, this could actually be a good model. Like we could buy, because if we could buy sites that are getting a decent amount of traffic, and then just like they won't have lists, so we set up the list and then we hire somebody to create content and products for it. And you'd have to be very selective in who you partner with, but that could work well for us since we've got some.
Well, you could even hire them as internal entrepreneurs. I've seen other companies do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And essentially that's what it is, right? So you get paid by the company to do the entrepreneur stuff for the list, and then
yeah. But the way we're doing it, it's commissioned. So since we've got a huge list, like pretty much anything he does is going to make some money. So he won't be working for nothing. But we don't have to pay him either off, which is nice. So he basically wants to have a product business, and this is like this will take him his list. He only has like 1,500 people on his list right now. So this will take him to kind of like several levels beyond where he is, and should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's a jump start for him.
Yep.
And
so
if he's making the product, it doesn't. matter who's making the product. You know, you just get your affiliate commission and life's good.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting. But oh man, that launch, that was not a good idea.
No.
Note to self.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
And so before we're gone, anybody that's listening that had sent in their payment for the screencast, or not screencast, the Entrepreneur Mastermind group stuff, I forgot to ask for email addresses in that form. So when I set up the Slack this week, which I had to do from my phone, the only email addresses I had were from the PayPal payments that people sent in. And so we did get a few of our people into the Slack this week. But if you sent in your payment and you did not receive an invitation to the EntreProgrammers Mastermind Slack, check the email address from your PayPal account or email podcast@EntreProgrammers.com and let me know that you heard this and that you need to get in and tell me what email address you actually want to use for Slack.
Yeah, and it'll also help if like the domain or some name is totally different. If you send in the transaction ID, then we can verify that.
Yeah. I mean, if it's got the same name on the PayPal account, that's pretty easy for me to verify. Yeah. But if you include the transaction ID as well, it's just that extra little verification.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my dumb mistake for that, was forgetting to ask for people's email address. I asked for everything. I asked for everything about their business, and I may as well have asked for their blood type and checking account numbers directly. You
didn't ask for those?
No. But I forgot to ask for email address. So
if you'd gotten their checking account number, then we could just start withdrawing money until they noticed and then were like contacted you, right? So
yes, exactly.
That's right, and we would have just blamed Derick. No, we don't know money. No.
Hey, John runs the PayPal account. That's not me.
Yeah, we all know John's hurting for the money.
Exactly.
So should we do thoughts for the week?
Yes.
Because I have a thought, and this is something that I've been thinking about, especially in light of, everything that's gone on with relation to the most recent election. I'm not going to comment on any of the candidates or anything else, but it seems like over the last few years, people have been, George Bush got elected and the world was going to end. And then the other side was saying when Obama was elected, the world was going to end. And now we have people who are upset over Trump being elected for various reasons. And ultimately, my thought is just, you know what? We survived those two. We'll survive Donald Trump. And, whether you like him or hate him or don't care, it's been kind of an interesting thing to watch, but it's time to get back to work and work on the things you can control. Because if you want to say on this kind of thing, you're going to have to wait another 4 years at this point. Mm-hmm. So get to work on the stuff you can control, work on the stuff that means, whatever impact you're going to have on your customers in the world. And, let's go out and do the best we can with what we can.
I will echo those thoughts 100%. My one thought for the week, I guess, would be make sure you have a good backup of all your stuff.
Plus one.
The one thing that I don't have a backup that, well, I do have it on Time Machine. Let me take that back. The one thing I wish I would have backed up differently is my SSH key from my laptop. So amongst all the backups that I have, I've got Time Machine sitting here right on my desk, but then I've got an external Thunderbolt hard drive that I use for offline storage, but then I have my laptop itself as well as my Thunderbolt drive all backing up through backblaze.com. Mm-hmm. So I could theoretically get anything I need out of backblaze.com, which, why didn't I think of that 2 days ago when I needed my SSH key? That's what I was going to say, is make sure you put your SSH key somewhere safe, somewhere that is not dependent on a specific technology that you may not be able to access, like my Thunderbolt drive. I can't get to my Thunderbolt drive from a 2010 MacBook because it doesn't have Thunderbolt port. So yeah, I probably could have got it off of Backblaze.com, and I just now thought of that. Yeah, multiple levels of redundancy in my backups here, and I highly recommend it because your computer will just crap out on you at some random moment, and you won't have control over it, and you don't want to be screwed out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree, and I use Backblaze as well, just for the catastrophic,
Yeah.
oh my heavens, everything burnt to the ground kind of thing.
Yep, I've got 3 terabytes of data on Backblaze. It took 3 weeks to get that crap uploaded.
Yep. Yeah, but now it's safe.
Yeah, now it's safe, and it's only doing incremental backups at this point, so it's really slick.
Yeah.
I really like Backblaze.
I got a text from my wife just now. My daughter, I don't know if you can see that.
Yep,
My daughter got a citizenship award at
Nice.
school. So
Oh, that's cool.
that's awesome.
I guess my thought will be that I think I said this just a couple weeks ago, but you can do so much more with what you have than you're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost, I'm basically just continuing to go through the stuff that we have and like tweak it and fine tune it, and just like getting those upsells in place has probably added 25 to 50% to our monthly product revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not anything like, it's the same traffic, it's the same products, it's just the way we're, just presenting them at the right time. And then, so right now I'm going through this blogging course, and the blogging course was attempting to sell how to market yourself before, which was the $199 product. And it's just it's not working very well. So I'm taking the same course. We're just going to sell that stupid blogging workbook that's $5 that is generating all these upsells. And I think that's going to be way more profitable long-term than, and it's, again, same stuff, just shuffling the pieces around a little bit, and, it's just going to work so much better. So look for what's working and do more of it, I guess.
Yep.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
We all going to be around next week?
What's
will.
next week? What is the 18th? Yeah,
It's the 18th.
I'll be here. I don't think
I will be in New York, but
Yeah, I won't be able to be here Thanksgiving week. We have a Friday tradition. There's a community heritage farm thing out here in Waco that does a big festival every year on the Friday after Thanksgiving, the weekend after Thanksgiving, and we always do that instead of any kind of crazy Black Friday shopping.
So you get stampeded by actual cows instead of
actual cows and
Instead of-
oxygen. It's phenomenal.
nice.
instead of people with mad shopper disease.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Yeah, I probably won't be here for that either. So.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. See
ya.
you next week.
Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the EntreProgrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be